Record there. Okay, so I'm here with Trevor Harris, and we just want to say thanks for coming on here and just have a couple questions to ask you. So I guess we'll start just right off the bat. During these times with COVID going on, what are you and your family doing for fun?
I'm live right next door to my sister, so we've quarantined ourselves with them. We kind of consider that our little dome bubble. And she has three little girls, two of which are around TJ's age in terms of playing mode, because they have a 3-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And so TJ, Emma, and Sutton have been playing quite a bit. Other than that, we've just been going back and forth between each other's houses from then. Just every once in a while, just having some fun with them and going to the grocery store and back. And I've been going to my parents' house and back in terms of working out at my mom's studio. And so my workout protocol hasn't changed much. I've actually been ramping it up a little bit. So
good.
I'll be ready to roll.
Yeah, and that actually kind of leads to my next question is, if there is no season, what are you going to do?
It's a great question. I mean, all of us, this is be my 9th year in the CFL, pending the season. And that's kind of what I've structured my yearly routine around is, being able to be ready for camp and enjoying the off season, but grinding every day. And if there's no season, you're going to have to find something to do. And for myself, I'm going to try and find something to do that's impactful to the community or impactful to the future generations of kids. I'd have to find myself in football somewhere, because that's where my heart is. It's in ministry and football and helping others. And so I'll have to figure something out. But I'll kind of cross that bridge when I come, but all my eggs are in the basket of the CFL season happening.
Yeah, and I mean, I know as fans, we're really hoping it happens too. So, and I mean, just speaking with your what you're doing during COVID, that's nice though that you're allowed to kind of get out of the house. You got your sister next door, so you could escape a little bit. You're not stuck in your 4 walls. So, and actually, where do we find you today? Are you in Ohio?
Yep, I'm in Ohio, about 40 minutes north of Columbus.
Oh, cool, awesome. Oh, nice. Okay, now just kind of on the same topic, if the season does go ahead, but they don't let fans come watch, like what would that be like to you to not have the crowd noise and everything going at the same time you're playing?
Actually, back in 2015, when I played for Toronto, we had some home games at Tim Hortons Field. So I kind of already had a taste of that in a way. And there was a few times in the huddle, our offensive line would be like, "Hey, Trev, can you not say the play so loud the defense can hear?" And it was just like, oh, yeah. And it kind of takes you back to high school when you would do scrimmages and there was no fans. And so you would have to kind of be a little bit lighter in the play call and those sorts of things. But to me, at that point in time, it's no longer about playing in front of 30,000 and hearing the crowd noise. We have a duty and responsibility as professional athletes to entertain, to give people a break from this reality. And I've said several times in interviews since this has happened that sports is one of the unique two things. Sports and music are one of the unique two things that if you and I are sitting next to each other watching a game and we have a different political belief, we have a different religious belief, if we have different ethnicities or whatever it is, whatever our differences are, if we're rooting for that team, we're going to high five each other when our team scores. And
Yeah.
Football, sports in general, basketball, all sports do that for people. Hockey in Canada is big, obviously.
Yeah.
And it unites people. And to me, during a pandemic like this, when there's a sour world or a sad world going on, that's kind of our duty as athletes to give people that break.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing right now is that, the commodity, and we could get together and watch sports together and do things like that. And that's taken away from us. And right now the NBA playoffs would be starting. So yeah, it kind of hits tough. And actually, I was going to ask this later, but I'll ask this now. So if if you weren't playing football, what would you be doing? And would that include a different sport? And what is your favorite sport to watch and play besides football?
So if it wasn't for football in general, or if I wasn't playing football?
Both.
If it weren't for football, I would have to probably find myself in some sort of ministry or coaching basketball, because to me, I feel like sports is something that really speaks to kids. And I feel like, you can impact future generations through coaching.
Yeah.
And so if it weren't for football playing, I would be coaching football. And if it weren't for football in general, it'd be basketball. And basketball outside of football is my favorite sport to watch. And I just enjoy basketball. I grew up thinking I was going to go to Kentucky or Duke and play basketball. And
Okay.
I was up at 5 o'clock and 5:30 in the morning before school, shooting jump shots before school when I was up even through my junior year of high school. And then I started realizing I wasn't quite athletic enough or fast enough or tall enough to play basketball. And there was schools that I thought were dumb enough to give me a scholarship to play football. And here I am, 15, 16 years later. It's pretty surreal and a big time blessing.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And I mean, just where life can take you with things like that. Like, I imagine you didn't expect yourself playing in Canada, and now you found yourself up here for 9 years. And I think if you've been up here for 9 years, you're probably enjoying it. So,
Oh, I love Canada. And, to be honest, when I first got released in the NFL, my agent actually had told me, Toronto offered you a contract. They want you to go up there. I was like, I'm not going to Canada, man. I'm not going to Canada. I can tell you that right now. I'm not going to be up there. I have no interest in going up there. And, one thing led to another, and I felt like God was kind of directing my path. And
mhm.
I wish I would have come up here sooner. I love Canada. I love the culture of Canada. I love the people in Canada. And I love the game of the CFL. And it's really changed my perspective a ton, and how much respect I have for the Canadian game, the country of Canada, and the people of Canada, and even the fans of Hamilton and the fans of, Calgary. Those fans, it's awesome that we have such a great league. And at the end of the day, we're one big fraternity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a great way to kind of think about it. Now, kind of leading on to that, like being in Edmonton for a year, what did you find about your time there, and what did you do when you weren't playing football to just kind of let back or kind of kick back and have some fun?
Yeah, I'm a family guy. If I'm not at the stadium, I'm with my family or I'm home. And we would take my son to a couple of play places and the parks and go for walks and, go out to dinner and go to movies and those sorts of things with the family. But most of my time was spent at the stadium. I was typically there a little after 6, and I wouldn't leave till 6:30 or 7 at night sometimes. So I'm a grinder, and I just love the game. I love to be around my teammates and those sorts of things. So I'm not one of those guys that you're going to get a bunch of, I do this, this, and this, and this, this. I'm
Yeah.
a footballer. So.
Well, that's good. I mean, you got a family, you're a family man, so I think that's a good way to be. Next question would be, what, who's your favorite team to play against in the CFL? Do you have a particular team or a particular stadium to play in that's not your own?
Yeah, I love playing in.
Oh, I think we lost you there. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Sorry about that. My
No,
phone was getting a call.
no, no worries.
My favorite place to play is in Sask. Their stadium, just amazing stadium. I love playing in BC though, because it's a controlled environment. I always loved playing at Commonwealth before I came to Edmonton, and I've always really loved playing in Ottawa. Back to my time in Toronto there. So
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's nice too. You got some variety. Yeah, you have BC where they have the controlled environment, and then a lot of, I mean, the rest of them are open. So, that's something I like about the CFL and dislike is the weather can play a very big factor into our league.
yeah, and that's something that, thinking about if we would have a delayed season, we really can't delay it too long because of the
Hmm.
weather. You
Well,
know,
yeah, we're up right against the time there for that. So, yeah, no, definitely. And then I wanted to ask, I read an article this week that says you want to play till you're 45. Now I see Tom Brady, he's at 42 now, and you were working with some of his guys in the off season. So can you just kind of explain like what would motivate you to play till you're 45? Like, is it just the love of the game, or just like the team commodity, or what would draw you in to play for that long?
it would be impact and loving my teammates, and that's something that I don't feel like my fire is ever going to burn out for is playing for my teammates and bettering myself for them, and reaching out to them and trying to accomplish things with them, and that's what drives me about the game of football. And will I play till I'm 45? I don't know, but I know that if I don't see an end in sight, and that was kind of just what I meant by that is that I'm training myself to be able to play that way. And that's why I kind of went to TB12 this offseason, was to learn those sorts of things, to what he's doing to keep his mind and body fresh and feeling good and able to play. He hasn't missed a game since he had that unfortunate ACL injury, which there's nothing he could do to prevent that. And other than that, he doesn't miss games. And so I'm like, what's he doing? And so I wanted to learn those sorts of things so I can, not miss games and I can continue to keep my body feeling well. And so that way, if I do want to play till I'm 45, my wife is okay with it, and I continue to want to keep doing the thing I'm doing every single year, then I can. And if that happens, it happens. If not, then no. I feel like God's going to tell me when it's time to be done anyway. So I kind of I want to leave the door open to play as long as I can, and for me to do that, I have to be able to take care of myself properly, and that's what I learned a lot about.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Oh, good point. And okay, we got the last question here. Dead or alive, if you could have supper with anyone that's ever existed, I guess real or fake, who would it be?
Outside of Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
because that would be number one for me. I would say Kobe Bryant. He's from the time I've been in fifth grade when I first saw him play. For some reason, just something drew me to watch him play, and the way that he attacked the game with tenacity. The sort of the Mamba mentality. And you probably can't see it, but it's up there on my bookshelf back there. And it's just somebody I've always admired and wanted to kind of compete like. And he's kind of set the tone for at least my generation in terms of being that alpha male competitor that I feel like you need to be to succeed at your highest level. And he kind of has always had that mentality and kind of flirted with insanity a little bit. I think that's kind of what drove him, that obsession. And I kind of felt a connection with Kobe in a sense that I'm obsessed with this game. I'm obsessed with the details and trying to get better in any way that I can. And so I think I kind of just related with him to that.
Yeah, and I think it kind of like you could see it in him that he was doing those things as well. So it was really intriguing to watch him play and just, how much he studied his own craft and worked on it and he mastered it. And yeah, I mean, in my opinion, he's the best basketball player that's graced this planet. So no, I like that answer. That's good. So, no, just want to say thanks for reaching out to us here and chatting, and maybe we'll have to do this again sometime.
Anytime, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much.